Hello, hi.
How are you? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you so much for joining us today. I've seen all the work that you've done with the music videos recently. The one that recently came out, it was amazing. So a huge fan.
Oh, thank you. Thank you
It was
so much. I've been singing for almost 25 years. And now since 2018, I released a new single as a Cynthia, with my character in drag. And then I'm trying to pursue a little bit more my career as a musician, as a singer. So I want to share with the world a little bit like that aspect on my performing arts, on my entertainment business, compound, like who I am as an artist. So
yes.
I'm glad that you like it.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
loved it. I loved it. So, welcome to Until There Is a Cure Empowering Voices series. My name is Sharon. As you know, I'm in Italy right now, so we are on opposite sides of the world. And I'm joined today with a special guest, Cynthia Lee Fontaine. And you are not only an amazing drag queen, but as I read a little bit more about you, you have a degree in clinical psychology. So that's great.
Yes.
And you have experience as a caseworker, so you know very well your community and the community that you're working with. Therefore, I wanted to ask you, do you feel that people living with HIV/AIDS have the support they needed, whether that be medical, peer group, family, or even friends?
Well, before answering the question, Sharon, thank you so very much for this interview. Like I said before, thank you for what you guys are doing so far. The help and support for the HIV community and to the education too as well for STIs is very important. So thank you, Sharon. Thank you for this interview. To answer the question, I do believe today, 2021, there's a lot of resources to support in every single aspect all the people that is living HIV positive, all the clients, even like therapy, even like resources for linkage with medical services or medication, other stuff too, like even like resources for housing, helping with food, helping with, clothing. There's a lot of resources. I'm not going to lie to you. The past 4 years, we experienced a little bit of dark era because sadly, the old administration, the old presidential, sadly cut a lot of budget for HIV and STI prevention programs here in Texas and in southern of the United States of America, the south of the country. And it was a huge, very negative impact to all the caseworker and to all the agencies that provide all these services. But now with the new administration that we have, through Ryan White, grant from the Congress of the United States of America, that it was reinstalled back again in the United States of America, we have the opportunity to open new openings and new positions for the agencies to have a good and great and trained staff to help continue providing these education services to people that it's like on PrEP or also people that is living HIV positive. So I'm not gonna lie to you, it was a little bit like a very difficult time, but now we're coming back with an administration that is very, very, very supportive about this cause. But always, we have in the past, like maybe probably 21 years here in America, we've been having structured and very defined resources who help clients with HIV. And I'm very proud of that. And I'm very happy about it because this community needs a lot of support in all the entire holistic model, psychologically, spiritual, biologically, emotional. And covering all those areas is very important, especially for a person that, for example, received the news that, hey, there's presence of, there's presence of HIV on your system. And then you have to do the confirmatory results. And then you have to say like the confirmatory results, they reveal that you're HIV positive. So in all this entire process, in this moment that you disclose this information with your client, till all the entire process to try to make a rapport of communication with the client and also linkage with every single resource, we need all the entire, tools to provide for all these clients to have a very smooth process and understanding of what they are experiencing. So yeah, we have all those resources here in America, and I'm glad, that we're working on it.
I'm also glad that even if the past 4 years have been difficult, you now have a little bit more room to collect all those resources and make them available to those who need it. Because as you said, it's not only one or two fields that needs to get covered, we need support in all of those kinds of resources, whether that be psychological, friends, family, community building, working with people around you. And on this note, I wanted to ask you, in which way has the HIV/AIDS conversation changed your life, and why do you think it's important to still talk about it today? Because as a young person, it's a question that I always get asked about, like, why do you think it's important to still talk about it, to still raise awareness and inform people?
Well, you know what, to be very honest with you, I think this conversation about HIV is very important because still today, 2021, we still experience a stigma discrimination again, our beautiful, amazing community that are HIV positive. There's a still, even if we have now technology, internet, and even like social media, that we can utilize our social media to promote and to advocate for HIV kind community, still the stigma and the discrimination, and also a little bit of that, misconceptions that we have from the 80s when all the pandemic exploded. And you're going to be very surprised, even some members of the Generation Z still with a little bit like, this person, I'm sorry, I'm going to be a little bit graphic right now. This person is HIV positive. And you still see that reaction and that rejection. So we have to maintain this conversation open because we still have a stigma and discrimination. And we need to educate the people. And now I'm going to take the opportunity, Sharon, that you gave me this interview to tell everybody so far, having HIV is the same or is very similar, and the treatment, it can be very similar and equal as a person that have cholesterol problems and is drinking a medication just only to maintain the cholesterol levels in a healthy way. For HIV individuals and clients, for us, it's just like to maintain the vital load in zero, undetectable, and the CD4 cells, our defense cells, healthy and strong and moving on, I remember my last day that I was working as a case worker for HIV clients with substance use and mental health issues. I remember one of my clients was almost like 79 years old. And let me tell you, that individual had a body of a 28-year-old individual. So healthy, I was jealous. I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? He's like, I'm taking care of myself. He was a vegan, person, his diet and all the stuff, but he was like, in general, is taking care of yourself. And that's a great example. Like our HIV clients can have longevity in life, just taking care of themselves. And that's what I would like to continue, open the conversation for this new generation to still understand it, like, hey, it's HIV as far as the person taking care of themselves, taking the medication every day. The viral load is undetectable, is under control, is on zero. Even like, you can have a healthy life, sexual, healthy life too as well, and a longevity and a good quality life of living.
I think it's very important to stress the importance of reminding us those important steps forward that we had, because it wasn't like that in the 80s. And now we are proud to tell that we really worked we really worked for those steps forward. And
Sharon, I sorry to interrupt you, especially with the technology, how it goes so far. Back in the days, it was a cocktail medications that involved like 17 pills to 15 pills. And, they didn't know it was working or it wasn't working. Not until 1995, when they finally find out a cocktail medications. And then today that you can have clients that taking a Stribil, taking like, a tripla, taking Triumeq, that is just only one pill a day that have all those 10 to 15 components in one pill. So the technology is in advance and the technology is in our favor, especially for this cause. So, like I said, a person that have hypertension, a person that have cholesterol, the doctor prescribe a medication just to have everything under control. Is the same with HIV. We need to normalize HIV. I think that's the biggest, my new slogan this year. I said this in a couple of interviews before. We need to standardize and normalize HIV. And the way that I'm explaining this to you is like, if you have HIV positive, you can live a healthy, a good longevity quality of life. Of course, we're going to still promoting safe sex. Of course, we're still promoting PrEP. But the person that is living with HIV positive is it's something that it can be, under control as far as you have commitment with your medical treatment and you're living a great and amazing, like healthy life.
Mm-hmm. It's really great news also, because it wasn't like that before. And now, even stressing the importance of getting tested, knowing your status as safe sex and PrEP, we still can proudly say we need to normalize those things, and we need to normalize having an open conversation, especially with young people. Because as a Gen Z myself, I understand that now the situation, even after 1.5 years after the pandemic, it's still a difficult conversation, and it shouldn't be, because we should normalize both getting tested, know your status, and imagining a future, even when even after a diagnosis, even with HIV positive.
And like I said before, I don't like to generalize, but there's some individuals, members of the Gen Z community, that still like thinking like, and actually I heard a couple of conversations with this, like a couple of individuals, here locally, when I live Austin, Texas, USA. And the way that they talk is like, we're like going like backwards, back in the days to the 80s, like, oh, that person with the horrible sickness and the horrible illness. I'm like utilizing those words like that. And I'm like, no, and I'm glad, you part of this new generation, you can be a platform, you can be a voice for others, like, hey, this is my perception. This perception goes because the work that I'm doing, the involvement that I have on this organization that provides education for HIV and STIs too. And it's different. Like, it's just only like another condition. As far as you taking care of yourself, everything is going to be fine and under control. Mm-hmm. So thank you. I appreciate that, Sharon. Grazie.
I appreciate your effort to working with us and partnering with us. And here at UTAC, we talk a lot about creating a community and creating safe spaces, because safe spaces are crucial, and we have lived through a global pandemic, so we know how important safe spaces are. So absolutely. My questions will be, in which way, especially with your experiences, not only as a caseworker, but also as an active member, and now an active member in your community, how is it possible to make a positive impact in the community that you're living in general, in our community?
Well, actually, I do believe right now, so far, the positive impact that I'm just I created already. It's just like what you mentioned right now, these new programs for safe space for people that it's experienced with HIV or with people that is living with HIV positive. I do believe we need to take advantage of our social media platforms to raise our voice and call for, awareness and call for advocate. You know what I'm saying? In my case, for example, all these entire years, I've been working on HIV and prevention since 1999 in Puerto Rico, Proyecto Colores, Proyecto Arcoiris, Project Rainbow, with sexual workers on the street, predominantly, part of the transgender community back in the days. They were rejected by home and they have to, do everything possible to start living their truth as a transgender individuals. And sadly, they have to experience through sexual worker some STIs, especially with HIV. And working on that, like all these entire 22 years of my experience, the only way that we can make a positive impact is to talk. You need to talk. You need to educate yourself, but also to talk and start advocating for those who are your brothers and sisters, are part of your community. And they say that, you know what, I have a friend, I have a brother, I have a sister, I have an uncle, I have a mom, I have a dad that is HIV positive, but it's a great and amazing individual, is taking care of themselves. And let me tell you, it works for me. And also the positive impact that I create already, and I'm blessed for that and humble to say this, is that I use my character as a drag queen and I outreach. Back in the days and still until today, when I have my chance, I go to the agency that I used to work back in the days, CARE, Community AIDS, Resources and Education Program. And hey, you need to do like a HIV test today in any bar. I dress myself in drag and I go to the bars. And I get the opportunity to interact with the fans of the TV show, but also with people that have questions about HIV and STIs, because there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of like interrogants outside, And I do believe that's the most positive impact that I create. You know, if we talk about like a popular and collective impact, you know, using my social media always to advocate for HIV, always to advocate for PrEP, always to advocate for, you know, safe places that we have here in this country, you know, for you to go and feel, you know, there's going to be confidentiality, but at the same time, you're going to be support. You're going to have another peer that is going to be talking to you. You have a person, you have case workers, you have outreach workers, you have peer support specialists, you have every single member, an individual that is going to provide you accessibly all the resources that you need to continue your life healthy as possible.
Yes. I think acceptance and also overcoming fear, especially when it comes to misconceptions, is really key now. Acceptance in our community for creating better and safer spaces, and also overcoming the fear. Maybe it's a new generation fear, maybe it's still from the 80s, but it's still fear, and we still need to overcome and be able to not only give all the resources that are available accessibly, as you said, as you stressed, it's very important to have access to those resources, and whether then it wouldn't be possible to make an effort as a community to give those resources accessibly, and also to keep talking about that.
I agree with you. Thank you for mentioning about acceptance. Acceptance, it's like, you know, what break the barrier and how we overcome stigma and discrimination. If just only acceptance, but also respect. There's some people that still hard for them for the acceptance process, but at least if we can get the opportunity for people to understand that respect is one of the most valuable, you know, qualities that we need in order that we can respect others and we can support others. That's going to take you and lead us to the acceptance, you know, and that, thank you so very much, Sharon, to mention that, because I have that conversation a lot. I have plenty of messages of a lot of my fans that they are living with HIV positive, or especially on the Hispanic community, one of the biggest minorities in the United States of America, that is still facing a lot of stigma and discrimination because of the cultural reference, or, you know, because of the traditionalism that we came from a couple of our countries in Latin America. And the only thing that I tell them is that you need to love yourself in order that you can transmit and educate your family, your friends, and they will be accepting you and respecting you and loving you as always and more.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's also very important to be not only to be active in your community, but also make collectively an effort so you don't let anyone fall behind. Because we're really in this conversation together as different communities, but also we are collectively making an effort. I always ask in interviews, and I'm really curious to ask you that now. What is a quote or a saying that you live by? It's something that resonates with you, and that you.
There's two actually. There's one I share on the TV show, and it was created by me and one close friend. She's legally blind today. Her name is Cheryl. She's an amazing individual. She's working right now with her, you know, blind community and some deaf community too as well. And we create this together because we both study clinical psychology in Puerto Rico. I have a bachelor degree in clinical psychology. I have a bachelor degree in biology and a minor in human sexuality. And we study together, and I learned from her a lot too, you know. And like she advocates for the disabled community. Also, I advocate for cancer, HIV too. And one of the quotes that we create together, and I repeat that every morning, every time that I have the opportunity to do my prayers in the morning, and I have my devotional, and I have my moment to connect spiritually with the universe and with God, is do not give up. Even of the obstacles and inconveniences that you face in your life, just try to make everything possible to make your dreams come true, even if you are the only one who believes in yourself. And the only one, the second one that I always like tell to everybody, it's like, get tested, know your status, and stay healthy.
It's great. We really have to keep saying those also and spread.
Oh yeah, and like awareness. I say, like even in Spanish, you know, hazte la prueba, conoce tu estatus y mantente saludable.
Oh, it's so great to also have someone else who speaks another language and belongs.
We need to translate that into Italian.
Yeah.
You know, in every single language, we need to impact, you know, all the entire community, especially like we're using this platform, you know, like every single person, every single language, every single dialect, you know, we still like need to educate more, you know, so we can transcend when the message of like, hey, this is nothing. You're HIV positive, take care of yourself, live a good life, you're going to be fine, you know, you're going to have a beautiful relationship, you're going to have, you know, like whatever you want, but you have to dream it and you have to make your dreams come true. That's the most important part.
Yeah, we have to break barriers, whether that be linguistical, countries, and mind barriers, and also age gap. Different generations have to come together for this.
Absolutely.
Especially since we are talking about our hometowns, or like when our upbringing and where we grew up. As I mentioned before, I'm Italian, so it's really important also to talk about food. So I wanted to end this conversation on a more
Thank you.
You
guys have the best cuisine in the world, one of the best cuisine in the world.
I really don't want to miss the chance of talking with you that you were born in Puerto Rico and then you moved to Texas. So I really don't want to miss the chance about asking, like, what is your favorite food from your hometown? As someone who
absolutely. Well, you know, I like Puerto Rican food, you know, every dish, every plate is amazing. But my favorite one, it's rice with chicken, red beans, and pasteles. Let me explain to you what is pastel. Maybe probably you heard about the tamal, the Mexican tamal.
Yeah.
Okay. It's you know, the tamal is made based on corn. Our pastel is very similar, but it's made by plantain. So the mass is plantain, and it's stuffed with pork, meat, or chicken. So that's the only difference. So that's our Puerto Rican tamale, if I can call it. So that's my favorite plate, my favorite dish from Puerto Rico so far.
And something that you enjoy also in Texas that you maybe recently discovered about Texas cuisine and typical Texas dishes? Because I heard Texas is really interesting when it comes like food wise.
Oh yeah, you know what? I think like maybe, I think like, well, I've been living here for 11 years, so I think I tried mostly the Tex-Mex cuisine. I think it was very interesting and fascinating for me, like the fusion between the Mexican culture, like cuisine, versus the American cuisine. For example, the chalupas, that is something created in the United States here, are very delicious. Another stuff that they do a lot of here in Texas is the tortilla. They deep fry the tortilla to create like a bowl of like the salad bowls, or to create chips, you know? So that's like very Tex-Mex, you know? But my favorite food from Texas is barbecue, the brisket. Delicious. OMG. I'm a protein person. I'm a protein enthusiast. I'm a meat eater, you know. Well, especially in my case, that I'm a survivor of liver cancer, stage 1. I need to still strictly continue eating, like, you know, I think for a couple of more years, and then the doctor is gonna say, like, if you want to like come back, because I used to be vegan back in the days. But I'm a meat enthusiast, so I think brisket from, you know, especially there's great restaurants here in Austin and Dallas, Texas too, that barbecue is still my heart. It's the best barbecue in all the entire states.
I can't wait one day to go to the US and go to Texas, maybe so I can try this out.
Visit us, and you know, I'm gonna take you to take like traditional Tex-Mex cuisine. I'm not gonna take you to Olive Garden because I know it's a little bit insult to a couple of members of your Italian community.
Yeah, some will agree with that totally.
But you know, of course, absolutely. We hope that you can to visit it. Share your stories about like your community impact that you're doing over there in Italy, you know, Europe in general. How's the perception about HIV, STIs? It could be like very fascinating, you know, so.
It's great that we talk about a lot about community, and also food is something that can really bring people along, and it's so nice to have not only conversations about important topics and an open conversation, but also to remember that we build a community through in many ways, one that being with food and traditions and being together and accepting each other. So we really had a conversation about a community safe space.
I want to tell you something. I don't know, you're like, wrap it up. I want to tell you something. I got the opportunity twice to go to Italy. I went to, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, I went to Italy twice. I went to Milan. I went to Sicily, and I went to the capital, to Rome.
Ooh,
And I
where
have
are
a couple
you?
of friends. Yes, I have a couple of friends. Well, you know, especially of the gay community, that they were supporting the TV show, and we were just like, you know, sitting next to La Fuente de Trevi in Rome, and we were having a conversation. And one of the members he used to be part of the gay porn community, you know, and we just talk about like HIV, because I talk about HIV. I disclose my work and my personal experience about HIV, and the way that they were talking about HIV was so beautiful. It made me feel like, wow, like the people over there. I mean, it was just a close group of friends, beautiful friends. They might probably will be like listening to this interview. I'm like, oh my God, I love you. Oh my God, thank you, blah, blah, blah. But it was a group that I feel like, wow, Italy have that step forward into like being open up and talking about HIV, and, you know, even like, and that was like 5 years ago. We went to a cruise with Chichi Divine, rest in peace, from season 8 of Drag Race and All Stars. And we were like, even Chichi and I, after we have this like conversation with our friends in Italy, we were like, these people is so open up in a good way. And especially about HIV and STIs. It was so beautiful to sit with a group of individuals, part of the gay community, and it was a diverse group. It was a transgender individual. It was a couple of members of the gay community. It was a non-binary individual too. And all of them were on the same page, like, no, this is like, you know, like if I have a lot of allergy, I need to take a pill. And I'm like, wow, that perception. And I wish 2021 here in the United States of America, we get to a point that we think like, it's just a cold, just take a pill every day, and take care of yourself, go to the gym, have a good diet, and you're going to be fine. And it was refreshing, you know. You live over there, you have another completely different experience, you know, cultural experience on that area, on your field. But in my case, that short experience made me feel like the Italian community, especially on the queer community, like, really, you know, is talking about it, and he's taking care of that, you know, conversation pretty well. And that was 5 years ago. So I just want to share with you that experience.
I'm so happy that you had a positive experience here. I think our queer community is really making steps forward when it comes to the HIV/AIDS conversation. And we're trying so hard to build safe spaces, especially in Rome, because that's where I live. So I can
Oh,
definitely
it's
tell you
so
that. It's
beautiful,
amazing.
beautiful.
It's an
Oh my
amazing
God, I
city.
love Rome. The people was so nice. I have to tell you this, and it's a compliment. You guys are gorgeous, beautiful, beautiful. You know, oh my God, like the diversity, the culture, and the education that you can like perceive around people speaking different languages. You know, involving you into the art, history of side of Rome, and what like the influence that Italy in general have in all the entire planet, in the education, even like we have on the new continent, on the Occident, you know, it's just so beautiful. So blessings. You live
Thank
in
you.
a beautiful country.
I hope not only for 2021, not only in the US, but also here to build greater communities who are safer, who are happier, who have a positive impact in our everyday life. So I really hope,
Yes.
I really wish that for both of our countries. So,
And of course, you know, I wish in the future, I still praying, I know technology is in advance,
yes.
that one day we're going to have the opportunity to cry and celebrate that we found the cure for HIV. And that in my heart, that's going to be the happiest day. Besides, I get the opportunity to go to the TV show. Besides, I get the opportunity to express myself artistically everywhere. Besides, I making my dreams come true. Besides, I have a beautiful relationship with a man that I love so much. Besides the support and love that I have from my family, I know, I'm hoping in the future, we're going to find the cure for HIV.
I really hope and pray for that too, because it will be a
Yes,
very important day for our community, for different communities across the world.
absolutely.
Really hope that. Thank you so much for joining us. It was an amazing conversation. It was really heartwarming, and I welcome you to Italy and to Rome whenever you want, because we are
I
really.
need to come back again and visit you actually, and have the opportunity to go to great restaurants and learn more about the culture in Italy, and have a more, you know, in one-on-one conversation about how is the demographic over there and how it's going so far, you know, the acceptance and breaking barriers, you know, overcoming a stigma with love, acceptance, and respect. So to learn, so I can take that knowledge and tips all the way to America and continue advocating for our communities here.
Yes, it's great that our cultures get to meet and we get to make this work together. So thank you so much. As Sharon, as a UTech intern, thank you so much for joining us and partnering with us also in your everyday life and working towards our common goal together. Really, thank you. It was a beautiful conversation.
Thank you. Grazie.
Grazie. Thank you. Thank you too. Enjoy the rest of your day. I think it's pretty early, still early there. So.
Yes, it's noon right now. So for you, it's like almost 7 p.m., right?
Yeah, it's 7:30. So.
Oh, but you still have like, I don't know, is that ring light that you have, but I see like clarity on your room. So
it's great because it's still summer, so there's still a little bit of light outside.
Oh wow! Well, enjoy the rest of the night, and thank you so very much, Sharon, for this opportunity and for this interview. Keep me posted. I would like to share it in every social media platform.
Yeah.
For me, this is something that I'm very serious and committed. So thank you so very much. Thank you.
I will send you all the materials to you. Thank you.
And congratulations. Drag Race in Italy is going to happen sooner.
I'm such a fan.
And like my new sisters, they have, you know, my support. I heard a couple of great names. I met them before, and I'm really excited. Really, 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 it's going to be a great and amazing competition, a great and amazing show. So congratulations.
Oh, thank you. I can't wait. I'm such a fan. I can't wait.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, like me too, you know, I'm a huge fan of the show, and I'm a huge fan of my sisters and every individual that become part of the TV show in every single country. And having Drag Race everywhere, for me, it's a huge happiness because I see other countries. I travel a lot, you know, in the past 6 years around the country, around the world. And I see the struggles from some communities to express artistically to drag, and to see every country is having a drag race. It's a huge success for us. So I'm very excited. Woo!
We're so excited, and we are so happy that we get to do this together. So
yes,
really
yes.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much. I will definitely keep you posted on all of this.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.